Good grief. Why do they never go in for me?
Hi everyone, I'm back again. Yes, it's me. I thought I'd jump on this. I haven't made a video for so long, and I thought I'd jump on this and do it. So it's a yearly celebration of vinyl. Yes, it's the Vinyl Tag 2023. Thanks to Rob for setting the questions. I had a quick peruse through the collection. I thought, yeah, let's go and do this. About time I got back and made a video. So here we go. So question 1. And thanks, Rob, for sorting the questions out. So question 1. Favourite new release of 2022? I'm going to be looking down here because I've got all the answers and all the rubbish down here. So, yeah. This, it was 2022 was a funny year because I actually bought more than one new record, well, newly released record. So usually I don't even have anything. I usually have to resort to what I've listened to on Spotify or something. But this year I was spoilt for choice. But my favourite new release this year has to be this one. So this is TuneYard with the, what's it called? The Overload. I loved this record this year. I think it got released right at the start of 2022. It's got a 2021 copyright on here, but like it was released right at the start of 2022. I just think this is just fun. It's a funny album. It's funny. I find it. The lead singer's got a real deadpan delivery. It's a brilliant indie album, and he's got a deadpan delivery, and I just think it's a really humorous record. I love this. So this is my new release of 2022. Brilliant album, TuneYard. Right, number 2, last band I saw live. So the last band I saw live was when was it? I think it was October. And I hadn't been to see a band before that for at least 2-3 years. But I went with my daughter and I went and saw this lot. So this is Mudhoney. Mudhoney were touring in the UK. I think it was an oft delayed tour, obviously from recent history. They were fabulous, absolutely brilliant. So this is a live record from one of their previous European tours. I bought this last year as well. Fantastic. So this is live in Europe. There we go. So Mudhoney were amazing, and my daughter was over the moon that we'd actually gone to see one of the original grunge bands, and we arrived early, and we actually saw Mark Arm and the boys outside, but my daughter didn't want to go and say hello, so we didn't do that, but we saw them before. Anyway, she was over the moon. Right, question 3. The first album is the best. Well, this first album is the best, is my favourite of all time, so I've got to choose this one. So it's the Stone Roses debut. Yeah, they only had one other album, but this is better than that. I've already had a whole video back in the archive where I've just eulogized this record. I drag it out every so often and listen to it still. Just a perfect record for me, absolutely perfect. So there we go. So the first is the best, is Stone Roses debut. What's the number? Oh, Hat Trick. I don't know how this is one of my favourite albums, and this is my favourite album by this artist. So this record is Patti Smith by Easter. I know most people will go for Horses or one of the other albums, but I just love this record. I got this ages ago. I can't remember. I might have had it on tape first, actually. I'm not sure, but this is a fantastic record. So released in '79. It's got Because the Night's on this one. But every song is brilliant. 25th Floor, Ghost Dance, Space Monkey, just love it. Cover of Privilege, just absolutely brilliant. So there's the vinyl. There's a CD with the extra track. And there's a Fame reissue of the cassette. There we go. So there's my hat trick or triple crown, whatever you want to call it. Just put those down. Right, what's next? Album that starts and ends with the same letter. I've gone for the obvious on this one. I'm sure this will be mentioned by somebody else, but Revolver. Yeah, ended as possibly my favourite album cover as well. Still my favourite album cover. I really should get a poster of this. I did have one back when I was a student. Massive one. I think it covered half a wall. But I don't know where that went. Don't seem to have it anymore. Must have got wrecked somewhere along the line, but I should get another one. Right. What's this one? Born in the same year. So there's a band from Wales where two members, and I can't remember, I think born in January and February of the same year that I was born. So the year is 1969, which makes us all 53 at the moment, I think. So the two members are, so James Dean Bradfield and Nicky Wire of the Manic Street Preachers were born in the same year as me. So Nicky Wire was born in January, I think. James Dean Bradfield was born February. And I was born in February. So there we go. Can't get much closer than that, I think. So there we go. What's next? Most listened to album in 2022. Now, the most listened to album in 2022 is because I found a CD copy of it really dirt cheap. I'll do that later. Now, what should I show first? The vinyl? Yeah, show the vinyl. So, I bought this from Woolworths in Southgate, London in, what, I don't know, 1986 possibly. So this is the first time I heard the Kinks properly. It's a cheapo compilation made in Belgium of some of their greatest hits. It hasn't got all of them on it. For some, it's got a lot of them, but this is just one of my favourite greatest hits. It's just 16 fantastic songs, and all of them are fantastic. The reason I've listened to this more than any other album last year is because last year I found a CD copy. So this has been on permanent rotation in my car, and I've just listened to this over and over again. I think I told the other guys in the VC UK that Waterloo Sunset just had me in. It was one of those pull the car off the side of the road moments. I was in tears listening to Waterloo Sunset just because it's so perfect. I love it when certain songs just strike you that way. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so that's my most listened to album of 2022. Right, what's next? Well, let's just put that there so they don't all fall all over the place. Put that there. I've lost the record. I've lost the CD. Oh no, there it is. Right. Next, most listened to artist. So a band that I've really got into lately is The Sword, who are kind of like a desert rock. Not really stoner. They're a bit too fast to be stoner, to be honest. But they're kind of desert rock. Along the lines of Queens and Stone Age and all that kind of stuff. So this is Gods of the Earth. I can't remember which album this is, which number album this is from them. But I bought quite a few of their stuff this year. I had a couple of them for quite a long time, but I bought a few more this year, and I've been listening to them loads. Absolutely love The Sword. You've probably seen, I've made videos where I've worn a Sword t-shirt. But yeah, so they're my most listened to artist of 2022. Fabulous stuff. What's next? It is an Australian band. I could have chosen Birthday Party, AC/DC, but I've went with this lot because I really like this album. So this is In Excess, obviously from Australia. I think this is their first big album in the US, I think. So this is Listen Like Thieves. This is the one before Need You Tonight. And this has got things like What You Need, Kiss the Dirt, that kind of stuff on it. I loved the NXS in the 80s. Absolutely brilliant band. Brilliant. So there's my Australian band, In Excess. A surprising purchase. Okay, this was a surprising purchase. So this is Loop, and this is Sonancy. I didn't even know this was coming out. The only reason I found out this was out was I was in HMV with my daughter looking at, I don't know, grunge or metal CDs. And I was just checked out the new releases that were there in that section, just flicking through, seeing what was come out. And I saw this, and I thought, what is that? Is that a bootleg? And no, it's a brand new album. I had no idea that old Robert had released a new album. So I went home. Oh, balls. So I went, oh, that's got stuck. Right, that's why. So I went home, went to Amazon, because I couldn't get the vinyl in HMV, and I ordered it, and there we go. So Sonancy, Loop, fantastic. So that was my biggest surprising purchase. Artist you're complete on. I don't think I'm complete on that many. When it comes to vinyl, I don't think I'm complete on many albums. Artists, rather. If I count CDs, then I think I am. Like, I have all the Bowie studio albums, at least on CD. I've got a lot of them on vinyl, but not everything. Zeppelin, I've got all the CDs. There's a lot of artists that I do have all the CDs. But so I chose this band because really they should be better remembered. You never see this lot, or very rarely see this lot. And they were a fantastic band in the sort of last decade or so. Maybe around the turn of the 2010s. Sort of 2010, 2014 time. So this is the Dum Dum Girls. Absolutely fantastic. Female-led indie rock from the early 2010s. So this is their first album, Too True, which is fantastic. Released on, what's that on? That's on Sub Pop. Fantastic label, Sub Pop. We've got Only in Dreams, which is also on Sub Pop. And then we've got, what's this one? Oh, I've done that in the wrong order. So this is their first album. What a twit. This is I Will Be, and that's their first album. So they only released 3 albums before they called it quits. And I have all 3. So there we go. So Dum Dum Girls is my completed artist. Right, next, a great run of 3 albums. Well, I've got 4 because I'm being contrary. So this year I've really, because I think this is basically because of my daughter. She's really got into metal. Like, she's into Death, she's into Slayer, she's into new metal like Korn and Slipknot. She's into like thrash. But one band that I've gone back and listened to again, and I never forgot how good they are, but I kind of forgot how good maybe first 4 of these are. So the artist is Metallica, and their first 4 albums is an amazing run of records. So here we've got Kill 'Em All, which is probably the first released thrash album. I mean, I know there were demos and stuff knocking about that were thrash, and people argue that Exciter were the first thrash album, but they weren't. Their speed metal, if we're going to split hairs. Kill 'Em All with some amazing songs. Ride the Lightning with more amazing songs. Master of Puppets, which is one of the best albums of all time. And Justice for All, which is... some people disparage this one because of what they did to Jason Newsted's bass, but I still love this record. There's so many good solos. I think Kirk was on top form on this record, probably more than any other, to be honest. So there we go. My run of 4 albums, I absolutely love all of those. Right, next. 80s soundtrack. Well, we've gone for one with a bit more metal on it. So this is the film River's Edge, which I absolutely love. I still own on VHS. Maybe I should have dragged that out as well. So this is a fairly dysfunctional story about starred Dennis Hopper, Keanu Reeves. So you can imagine what it's kind of like. Very dark. I think there was a lot of these kind of films around in the late 80s. But this is a great soundtrack. So it's got 4 Slayer tracks. It's got Fate's Warnings on here, Hallows Eve. There's a good Agent Orange track, Wipers. And then right at the end, there's a Burning Spear song, which really doesn't fit, but it still works. So that's my 80s soundtrack, River's Edge. Brilliant album. Brilliant film. If you haven't seen this film, go and see it. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but it's great. Right. What's that? We lost them in 2022. I was so sad this guy passed away. Absolutely fantastic artist. So this is the Screaming Trees and Dust, which is probably my favourite Screaming Trees album. This was their last one they released. So this year, I'm pretty sure it was this year, I might be wrong, but anyway, he deserves a eulogy anyway. Mark Lanegan passed away, I think fairly early on in the year, I think. Screaming Trees were always underrated. Mark Lanegan, what a voice. What a delivery he had in his songs. Absolutely amazing. I mean, he did the version of In the Pines that basically Kurt Cobain covered his arrangement on MTV Unplugged. Fantastic band, absolutely brilliant. And we lost Mark Lanegan this year, so there we go. That's my we lost them in 2022. Right, disappointing purchase. I honestly haven't got one. To be honest, I very rarely blind buy anymore. I either will check them out on YouTube or Spotify now. It's just so easy to check. I don't have a disappointing purchase set. All the records and all the CDs I've got this year, I've been more than happy with. So there we go. We don't have a disappointing purchase. So there we go. What's this one? A non-vinyl purchase. Where's that gone? So this year, before I took my great hiatus, which I don't know if that's going to last or not. This might be a blip, who knows. I was planning on extending my British Indie and Me series, which I did. And I got up to... Where did I get up to? Shoegaze? Was that the last bit I did? And then I did a grunge video, because even though it's not British, grunge had a huge impact in the UK. And I was going to hit Britpop next. Maybe I will, but as part of the research I was doing, I bought this year. And I never got around to using it. It's a great documentary. This is Live Forever, the rise and fall of Britpop. It's great. It's got interviews with everybody. Jarvis is on here, Liam's on here, Damon's on here. So I love Britpop. I know it's getting it's kind of, I don't think it's quite reached that age of reappraisal. Give it another 5 years and I think that people will be going over Britpop again, much like grunge is hitting now. Seeing a real uptick in like people liking grunge, like Kurt Cobain and all the rest of it. Seems to be about 20 years. So we're sort of mid 2020s, I think we'll be seeing a mini reappreciation of Britpop. I know there's a lot of talk about abhorrent behaviour that took place, especially towards female-led bands, female musicians during Britpop, but I love the music. So there we go. That's my purchase of that. A non-vinyl purchase. What we got next? You found a Grail. I suppose this was a Grail. I don't really do Grails. Like, yeah, there are records I want, but they're not Grails. I mean, nothing's that rare that I want that I can't find. I mean, I'm not into buying original pressings. I just don't care. It's the music that counts for me. But I was absolutely stoked to find this, and I've been looking for it for quite a long time. So this is Pussy Galore, and I love the title of this. It's one of my favourite titles of a record ever. Sugar Shit Sharp. This is the most lo-fi blues funk rock that you can find. It's kind of a funky blues recorded on a boombox. Well, it's better quality than that, but it's not great quality. So this is John Spencer and other people. I'm going to talk more about this when I am actually going to do a vinyl watch. I will do a vinyl watch, and I'll talk more about this. But I've loved most things that John Spencer's been involved with, like the Blues Explosion, Boss Hogg, and all the other stuff he's done. And I was absolutely stoked to find a copy of this, knocking it about in the record shop here where I live, in a little town in Devon. And I thought, blimey, I'm having that. A bit crackly, but I don't care. It's pussy galore. I didn't think I'd ever find one of those. So that's that one. Right, what we got? Space-themed album sleeve. Well, you can't get more space-themed than the soundtrack to my favourite film at the moment. And I've seen it loads. 2001: A Space Odyssey. They can't get more spacey than that, can you? There you go. So that's my space-themed album. Right, a present. I think this is a present or VCLT. So I'm going with a present. My last present I got from my daughter for Christmas, and I finally got a copy of MBV by My Bloody Valentine. I've been meaning to get this for donkey's years, and I never got around to it. But it's absolutely brilliant. I could have chosen My Bloody Valentine was completed, because this completes the 3 albums that I've got by them. But yeah, finally got MBV. Stoked to finally have this. It's a good record. It's a brilliant record. Probably not hitting the heights of the other two, but it's brilliant. And then to round off, an album released in 1973. And I'm going with one of the greatest albums. I mean, there were plenty of good albums in 73. But probably one of the ones that had the most influence, I think, is this one. So this is New York Dolls, the New York Dolls. Proto-punk, I guess you'd call it. But it's just a brilliant hard-rocking glam record, to be honest. But there you go. That's my album released in 1973, The New York Dolls by the New York Dolls. And I don't know if this is a reissue or whether it's an original. I picked it up in a charity shop. I don't know when. I think it was like good 20 years ago at least. Probably more than that. But fantastic. I couldn't believe it when I saw that, and I'm stoked that I still got it. Brilliant album. So there we go. Oh, that could have been in the First Is the Best as well, to be honest. Don't think they've really bettered this. I don't think any of the members have ever bettered this. So there we go. So there's my Vinyl Tag 2023. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that you all have a very happy, peaceful and successful 2023. Thanks everybody. Happy New Year. Bye.